remember very well what life was like in New Hampshire during those years. A lot of people were losing their health care. A lot of homes were being foreclosed on. There was a lot of uncertainty about the economy. And then during the 1990s, we didn't have that level of anxiety and insecurity. Well, it's kind of an interesting coincidence. Here we are in 2007, and the stories that I'm hearing from people in New Hampshire are about losing health care, about homes being foreclosed on, and about insecurity and anxiety about the economy, and about the extraordinary anguish people feel about the war in Iraq. I'm very proud of the record that my husband had when he was president for 2 terms, serving this country so well. And never forgetting what politics is supposed to be about. You know, there are a lot of ways people keep score. You know, who's up, who's down, who's in, who's out. But the way Bill and I think about it, and the way that we have worked to make a difference over so many years together, is really pretty simple. Are people better off when you stopped than when you started? Have you given people a chance for their own future to be better? To live out the American dream for themselves and their children? And that's really what this campaign is about. There's a lot of the politics going on, and of course it'll get even more intense and heated in the next 4 months. But it really does make a difference who we elect. Look at the difference that you've had here in New Hampshire with a Democratic governor and a Democratic legislature for the very first time. It has been over 100 years since the Democrats ran New Hampshire, and it's a pretty good feeling, isn't it, to see what's getting accomplished. I want to thank our dear friend Sylvia Larson, who is the President of the Senate. I also want to thank the Speaker of the House, Terry Norelli. I love the fact New Hampshire has these women in charge, and they're doing such a good job. Has been accomplished: a minimum wage increase, environmental protection, the civil unions bill, the smoking ban, and so much more. And it's because people came together with a vision about what could be done to move this state forward, to preserve New Hampshire's quality of life. And of course, tomorrow is Labor Day. And I want to acknowledge all the hard-working men and women and all of the unions that have fought for so many decades to improve working conditions, to make sure people had not just decent wages, but living wages that would give them a middle-class way of life and standard of living. So we've seen change here in New Hampshire. The question is, are you ready for change in the United States of America? Care for every single American? Are you ready for schools that are worthy of your children? Are you ready for a president who respects science and listens to our scientists on global warming and stem cell research? Are you ready for a vice president who actually respects the Constitution again? And are you ready to end the war in Iraq and bring our troops home? Well, if you're ready for those changes and so much more, I am ready to lead, and I ask you to join our campaign. I want to set and achieve big goals for America again. When I was growing up, that's what we believed in. We believed we could do anything we set our minds to, and we did. We have not only the greatest country in the history of the world, but we raised the standard of living. We opened up the doors of opportunity to tens of millions of hardworking, responsible Americans and their children. So let's set some big goals. And here are my 4 big goals. I want to restore America's leadership in the world. I want to rebuild America's middle class and the economy to support it. I want to reform our government, and I want to reclaim the future for our children. We know the world is changing. In fact, there's very little we can do about a lot of the changes that are happening. It's up to leadership to make change our friend, to figure out how we're going to continue to create opportunity for all. When Bill was president, he had a vision to how to prepare our country for the 21st century. And that's why he worked to create 22 million new jobs and open the doors of college to so many more young people. He wanted to make sure that people were lifted out of poverty, and during those 8 years, 100 times more people were lifted out of poverty than in the preceding 12 years. We were on the right track as a nation. We were headed with confidence and optimism into the future. Now, every election is about the future. And as proud as I am of my husband's record of balancing the budget and creating a surplus and making Social Security secure for another 50 years, we live in a different world today. And so we have to take what is best about our past and carry it forward like pioneers going into a new terrain. We've got what we think we need, but we have to be adaptable and flexible and smart and strong about facing the challenges ahead of us. And if we look at those new challenges, they present opportunities as well. The world has become flat, but that doesn't mean that American wages have to remain flat the way they have under George Bush and Dick Cheney. We have had more people for the first time own their own homes, but that doesn't mean our government has to stand on the sidelines as we have a credit crisis that is driving people into bankruptcy and foreclosure. We have seen our alliances become weaker. Too many of our enemies have become stronger and bolder. We now have, according to the latest census figures, 47 million Americans without health care. But that's only half the story. Millions more with insurance can't afford what they're paying now. Premiums have doubled in the last 6 years. And a lot of people, when they actually need medical care, their insurance company says no. So we have a healthcare crisis, and it's not just about the uninsured, it is about our entire healthcare system. Everything from freedom of choice to our basic civil rights, our abilities to perform the most fundamental tasks of government, like rescuing people from a hurricane, which so disastrously 2 years ago turned into an international embarrassment. All of what we used to assume about our government and our country is at risk, and our values are under assault by this administration and their ideological allies. If you look